Hello and welcome back to Facebook Live. We're really excited to be back with you after the August break. I know it's not summer for some of you down in the Southern Hemisphere in Argentina and Chile and those countries, but it's been summer over here. We're really happy to be back. My name's Craig. I'm from mansioningles.com and also the podcast inglespodcast.com. And with me, I'm delighted to say hello to Lynn. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Craig. It's good to be back. I mean, I really enjoyed my holiday. I have to say, I would have liked a longer holiday, but it's good to be back. I'm looking forward to tonight's Facebook Live as well.
Did time fly for you during the summer?
It did, and it didn't. It did, and it didn't. Because now, and this was the background to this class, because when I was on holiday, you have time to relax because you're not so busy all the time. And one day when I was on holiday, I was thinking about the concept of time, and that's where I got the idea. And I said to you, let's do the first class on how time flies, the concept of time. And how it flies. But have we got any visitors yet? Have we got anybody back from holiday listening to us live?
Well, Hemma's back from holiday. I hope you had a good summer, Hemma. Yeah, Hemma's here. Good to see you again.
Hi, Hemma. Hi, that's nice to see you again as well.
Lovely to see you. And while people are joining, while people are coming in, just want to say, if you did have a break during August and you have come back to start studying English again, if you feel the need for a private personal teacher to guide you through your English learning process, you cannot do better than go to putitlikethis.com.
You're plugging me. You're plugging me.
Have a chat with Lynn. She'll design a course for you and she will take your English up to the next level. So there's the website there, putitlikethis.com.
Can I plug you too now that you've plugged me?
Oh, we can do that at the end. Don't worry about that. We'll do that at the end because we want to get on and start speaking about vocabulary connected to time, how time flies. Let's start with some basic time vocabulary. Do you know how... Sorry, Lynn.
Just before we start with the vocabulary, maybe can we just introduce what we're talking about? Because otherwise I think people might get a little bit confused and think, what are they talking about today?
What are we talking about?
Right. So I was thinking about the concept of time. Yeah. And some people, I feel the concept of time every day. Do you? Are you always looking at your watch? Do you wake up and plan your day according to the time, Craig, or not?
Not so much per day, but the older I get, the more conscious I am of time. A lot more aware of time passing now I'm in my 50s than I was when I was in my 20s. Exactly, so with the passing of time, I'm more aware of it now. It's more precious to me. And I think about it more, but not on a day-to-day basis. No. Like, it's 8:30. I have to go shopping or whatever.
Yeah. And this is what I was thinking about on holiday, because I always have the sensation on holiday that time is going slowly. But when I'm working, I never have enough time. I'm always running after time. I'm always chasing it. And I just started to think about, I think different people look at their lives with different visions of time. Yeah. And that's the way we have structured the class today. So we're going to talk first about vocabulary, how to express time. And then we're going to talk about different ways of viewing life with time. How do you organize your life? Yeah, it's a bit more abstract today. So listening practice today.
Before we get into the vocabulary, Norma's joined us. Hi, Norma.
Oh, hi, Norma. Nice to see you again as well.
Francisca from Mallorca.
Oh, hello. Nice to see you.
Too hot over there. And Glaucum from Colombia.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, so now we can start with the vocabulary.
So now we could start, and my question is, what's another way to say 30 minutes in English? Because you can say 30 minutes as a way of expressing time, or you can say it another way. And how do you say 90 minutes? in English? I'll give you time to think about that. How would you say 30 minutes? And then how would you say 90 minutes in a different way in English?
In English, yeah.
There we are.
Heidi has come from Buenos Aires. Christine's there again. Hello, nice to see you again.
Thanks for joining.
Right.
So 30 minutes, half an hour. And be careful of the pronunciation. Half an joins together. Half an hour. Half an hour. I'll see you in half an hour. And what about 90 minutes, Lynn?
An hour and a half. And again, I'm glad you pointed out the pronunciation because I was going to do that too. These are many foreign speakers of English cannot pronounce these things properly. And it is because the word hour begins with a vowel sound. Obviously, it's written with an H, but the H is silent. So we say hour. And when we are saying these time combinations in English, in pronunciation, if you have a word that ends with a consonant sound, like the word an or half finishes with F, an finishes with n, and the next word after that word begins with a vowel sound, then we push the consonant and we link it to the vowel sound because it makes it easier to pronounce. So as Craig said, half fun. So we say fun. We don't say we say fun. We say half an hour. And the N from an pushes to hour and we say nour. Nour. So we say fun, nour. And so if I say it again, we say half an hour. And then you can say it with one long breath. And this is very difficult for non-native speakers because everybody starts getting a little bit tongue-tied because they're trying to say half an hour. And they're trying to breathe between each word. And native speakers say half an hour, half an hour. And the same with an hour, the next one, an hour, duh, because the D from the and pushes to the a. So we say duh, an hour and a half, an hour and a half.
In fact, I might even not pronounce the d sound of the and. I might just say an hour and a half. An hour and a half. An hour and a half.
Yeah.
And a problem that some Spanish speakers, particularly Spanish speakers, have with an hour and a half and 2.5 hours is sometimes I hear my students say 2 hours and a half, which is not correct. So it's not 2 hours and a half, it's 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours.
Good. Okay. And that's again with the two and, to one, because the and is weak. It's not and, it's und. All right. And the W is pushed. So we say to one, half hours, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah.
And the next
sometimes for my students, can I write in the chat? I think I can, can't I? Sometimes I write it like this, 2.5. And you see that?
Hasn't come up for me.
Oh, it hasn't come up.
Do you want me to write it?
Yeah, can you write it? I write TUWENE and then half, but all in one word.
Oh, 2.5. Like that?
Exactly. 2.5.
2.5.
and I mean, sometimes, that's not the way you write it, but that's the way we say it. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So you have to practice in the shower and say 2.5, 2.5, 2.5.
And if you're in the shower for 2.5 hours, you're in there far too long. What are you doing?
That's true.
So a couple of hours can be 2 or 3 hours. I'll see you in a couple of hours. And similarly with the of in couple of hours, the of becomes week. So we don't say a couple of hours, we say a couple of hours,
Love.
a couple of, like love, a couple of,
Like love.
a couple of hours. And the v from the v sound from of connects with the vowel sound, because remember the H is silent on hours. So it's couple of hours. I'll see you in a couple of hours.
Yeah,
We're getting more.
This is a truly difficult part of English pronunciation, the time. And
difficult
most people
to
get
hear,
it.
isn't it?
It's difficult to hear. Of course, the spellings are horrible because everybody wants to say the L in half. And Spanish speakers usually want to try to pronounce the H in hour. So they say things like half and hour, right? Which, of course, is way off the way the native speakers say half an hour, half an hour.
And remember, because you think the rule with the article a or an is that you use when the letter is not a vowel. Well, H is not a vowel, but it's silent. So you do have an before the noun hour. So it's an hour. And yeah, Maria's saying in the chat, from Spain, for us, it's difficult and it's easier to say 2 hours and a half. Yes, but native speakers don't say that, Maria. So please don't say that when you're speaking English. Say 2.5 hours. That's more natural. That will make you sound better. 2.5 hours. And a few hours, a few hours, a few hours, wowers, a few hours.
A few hours. That one's a tricky one too.
See you in a few hours. So let's move on to some collocations connected to time. What can you do with time? Any verbs that you can think of that go together with time? When you think of the word time, what verbs go before time? What can you do with time? There are quite a few.
There are many verbs. And the thing that struck me, Craig, when we were planning this class and we wrote all the verbs,
what does struck me mean?
To strike me. Well, I did this yesterday and I hurt myself. I had a student and I said the same phrase, what strikes me. And my student said, what does that mean, strike? And I said, strike means, and I hit myself, but I really hurt myself. I was too enthusiastic. So strike is when you hit somebody. The verb is to strike, and the past tense is irregular, so it's struck. Yeah. And we can say in English, what strikes me in present tense, or what struck me, and it means the thing that called my attention, the thing that captured my attention. That is, if something hits you and you think, oh, so we
like
have
a realization, isn't it?
Like a realization.
You realize something, yeah.
So sorry, coming back to the verbs, what struck me when I saw all of the verbs that we found with time, I thought, isn't that strange? Because time is not a physical thing. It's not like a glass or I don't know, or a headset, right? Time is an abstract word. And yet we have so many verbs that mean different things when we put them with the word time.
Yeah. Shall we look at some of them?
Clow Clam's got one. Fly. That's good.
Good. Yes. Time flies. That's in the title of today's today's class. So yeah, time flies. It does. It goes very quickly. If time flies, it goes really quickly. But we also have these verbs that we can collocate with time. So you can have time, something you can have. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have time. I don't have time to help you. I don't have time to study today. I'm too busy. So you can have time or you can not have time. I don't have time to see you today.
And then we have, I'm going to do the next 4 if I can, Craig. So kill,
go for it.
Pass, spend, and waste. And all of those verbs refer to what you do with your time, right? Now, I'm going to start with pass and spend because they sound very similar, right? But they're a little bit different. When you spend time, it is a deliberate action, okay? So you think, I can see my daughter is a little bit upset. I want to spend some time with her. So it's a deliberate action that you want to have some time together. Okay. But sometimes you have a lot of time and you're waiting for something. Maybe you're waiting for somebody to come to your house and then you're going to go out and you're a bit bored and you've got nothing to do. And so you take a crossword puzzle, or maybe you take, maybe you take your phone. Sorry, I just killed my phone.
And break it.
Maybe you take your phone and you play a video game. Now, that is not really a deliberate action. And so what you're doing is you're passing time. You're doing something so that the time is used, right? So that you use up the time. So the difference between pass and spend depends on your intention. Spending time is more deliberate, okay? It's more of a decision. And pass time is something you do just to make the time, to fill the time, okay? Then we have, of course...
Before you go on, just say one thing to add to that, is that sometimes I hear those two verbs confused, especially by Spanish speakers, when they speak about their holidays, for example, or their weekends. Instead of saying, how did you spend your time on holiday? How did you spend your summer holiday? How did you spend your weekend? They use past, which doesn't sound right because of what you just explained. So when you're speaking about an intention, a way that you think someone intended to spend their time or did spend their time, use spend, don't use pass. Because as Lynn said, pass is more with your phone just waiting for something. It's more abstract.
And then, of course, pass time, spend time, they are quite positive words. They're neutral words or positive words of things to do with time. But if you waste time, then you are using your time badly, right? So, for example, if you have children and they are studying for an exam, or they should be studying for an exam, and you go into their room and they're watching television or they're playing on their phone, you might say to them, stop wasting time, because you see that they're not using their time profitably or correctly. So that is to waste time. And then we have the last one, which is very violent, which is to kill time. But it's not violent. To kill time is very similar to pass time. But I think the feeling of killing time is the sensation that you are really bored and you don't know what to do with your time. So if you have no idea what to do with your time, then you have to kill time because it's so horrible. So you got to kill it. So it goes away, right? So kill and pass is similar, but kill is more negative. It shows that you're more bored. Pass is just a way of filling your time. Spend is with intention, something that you do to use your time with intention. And waste is when you are not using your time properly. Okay.
Before we continue with the other verbs, let's go to the chat. Some people are making some comments. Claudia's saying time goes by. Very true. That's another collocation. If you've seen the film Casablanca with that lovely song, as time goes by, as time passes. And Christine saying time ticks away. That's what happens with the clock. Tick, 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 tick. So time, ticks away. Time
can I just say with the tick as well, because strangely enough, with one of my students this morning, a Spanish student, and he said, tick tack, tick tack. And I said, no. In English, we don't say tick tack. We say tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. That's the sound that the clock makes when their hands are going around the clock.
That's interesting.
Tick tock.
Marcos is joining us from Guatemala. Welcome. Thank you for spending time with us, Marcos. And Norma's saying hanging out. That's a way of passing the time. Hanging out with your friends. You can spend time with your friends and hang out with them. Good. And finally, Antonio's saying there's a song from Rosette called Spending My Time. I don't know that song. So it's better to name it Passing My Time. It depends on the intention of the person who wrote the song. I would think that the person who wrote the song was intentionally allocating their time for something worthwhile, something on purpose. That's why it's spending time for a reason, whereas passing time is just waiting for something else to happen.
Oh, we've got somebody. Hello, Nazmul. We've got somebody from Bangladesh. I think that's
welcome.
a first, isn't it?
Yes.
Craig. We've never had anybody from Bangladesh. That's wonderful.
Nazmul, you're our first. You're our first student from Bangladesh. Welcome. We're speaking about time. If you're just joining us, passing the time, spending time, the way time flies. And at the moment, we're looking at some collocations, some verbs that go together with the word time. So the next one was buy time. If you buy time, then you somehow find time to do something. You need to buy time to work on a project, for example, or you need to buy time to do a task at home. So you try to find some extra time from somewhere else. And that also connects to the next verb, find time, to do something. I need to find the time to practice my English. I need to find the time to tidy my office, to arrange my furniture, to find time to do something.
And then we have save time. So, of course, if you want to be more efficient, then you want to do things faster so that you have more private time for yourself. And so many people try to do things to save time. The example I can think of is computers. Computers were often invented with the intention of saving people time.
But do they though? Do they really?
No,
do we have more?
No.
Have computers bought us time to do other things?
I don't think so. I sit in front of my computer for 10 hours a day, so I don't think I'm saving time.
Me neither. They haven't saved me any time. They've made more work, I think. Computers.
Yes, I think so too. They filled our time more.
Cloudcom's got a good example. To buy time to answer a question during a job interview. Yes.
Yeah,
Do you know any techniques for doing that? My dad told me to take my tissue out of my pocket if I get asked a difficult question and say, that's a very difficult question. And then you blow your nose for a few seconds while you're thinking of how to answer the question. And you've bought some time to think during the interview. Yeah.
I'm also, I like you, Craig, as well. We are oral examiners. And one thing I'm sure that you've noticed too, some teachers teach students when they're preparing them for the exams, for the oral exams, they teach them some phrases to buy time. Yeah,
I do.
And so sometimes they teach them things like, that's a very interesting question. Let me think.
I'm pleased you asked me that. I've never thought about that before. Let me see. Now, yes, and that's giving you a few seconds. And it's a good interview technique to buy some time.
It is. But I also have to say to all of you out there, if you're going to an oral exam, make sure that you use it in the appropriate place. As for example, sometimes I say to a student,
what's your name?
Where are you from? Where's your name? And they say,
that's a very good
interesting question. Let me think. Which is not appropriate. So you're not doing so you have to be very careful with those phrases that you learn to buy time, because you have to be a good actor and you have to use them in the appropriate place. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I think Christine's been brushing up on her collocations. Time is ripe for taking our time-related vocabulary up a notch. Fantastic, Christine. I like
Excellent.
That. That's very good.
I think soon we'll have to employ Christine as a script writer for us. What do you think, Craig?
Yeah. Or at least bring Christine on with us so that she can teach everyone some English.
You have some lovely idioms, Christine. Very good. And that's excellent. It's absolutely correct what you've said.
Let's just quickly explain that for people who don't know. So ripe, the word ripe, you can use for fruit, for example. If you have an avocado, you take it from the tree, maybe it's not ready to eat, so it's not ripe. So when fruit is ripe, it's ready to eat. If time is ripe, then it's the perfect time to do something. So Christine's saying time is ripe for taking our time-related vocabulary up a notch. And a notch is a level, another place on the ladder of learning English.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Christine.
Where were we? Lynn? I don't remember.
Up to have, but we've got have. That's sneaked in there twice, I think. Have time after save time.
My mistake.
And then don't worry. And then, but we've explained that. And then we've got lose time. Now, when you lose time, are you sure that? Do you say lose time?
I've lost.
I don't say that. I think that's a mistake that Spanish people make a lot. And what they want to say is waste time.
Yeah. I've lost. Did you? I've lost. No, I wouldn't say that.
No, I think that's gone in there by accident, Craig. I think so. We take out lose, right? Well, no, actually, I've got a context. You do. We tend to say wasting time if we're not using it efficiently. Mm-hmm. But if it happens by accident, not by intention.
Yes.
Right. So, for example, you're driving in your car to your interview and you have to get to the interview at 2:00 and your car breaks down and you have to get your car repaired. And then you get to the interview late. And you might say to the interviewer, I am so sorry, but my car broke down on the way here. And unfortunately, I lost 15 minutes.
Yeah, when it happens by accident.
Waiting for the recovery truck to come and pick me up. So I think that's it. We do use lose time, but only if it's accidentally lost. If it's lost because of your silliness or your intent by accident or by chance, then we say waste time. Yeah, like if you're doing it intentionally or doing a silly activity, then you are wasting time. So with intention, waste. I think I got a bit confused there. Sorry. With intention, waste, and by accident, by chance, lose.
I've thought of another example. You could say, for example, we lost a lot of time when the computer system went down. So it went down by accident. We lost time and we needed to work harder because of that. So, yeah.
That's right.
And then we have a phrasal verb. You can run out of time. So not literally running. No, to run out of time means that the time has disappeared. Imagine you're doing a test. You're doing an exam. You have 1 hour and a half and you don't finish in time. So you run out of time and you have no more time left. I'm sorry. Give me your paper. You've run out of time.
Run out of is a phrasal verb and it's a difficult phrasal verb. But what it really means is you have none left. And we use it here with time, as Craig has described. But you can also, for example, you run out of sugar at home. You want to make a dish or you want to make a cup of coffee, but oh no, I've run out of sugar or I've run out of milk, which means you have none left. And that's basically what that phrasal verb means, to have none left. It's all gone.
Gemma's thought of a collocation that we don't have here. Of course, you make time for things, don't you? You can make time for people. Yeah, I'll make some time for you this weekend. I'll make an hour so that we can have. I'll make time so that we can have coffee together. To make time for people. Yeah, it's a nice collocation. And take time. And somebody made a comment before. Gemma again. Take your time means tranquilo in Spanish. Relax. Don't panic. Take your time. Do it slowly. Do it well. Don't rush is take your time.
And don't hurry.
Don't hurry. Exactly.
Yeah. And then to invest time is again a verb that is talking about your intention. So if you decide, well, Craig was just telling me, Craig, weren't you, earlier, that you are creating a new course, which is going to be very exciting, hopefully, in the future for people who are learning English. And Craig, at the moment, is dedicating a lot of time in order to create this course. And so he has decided to invest a lot of time in creating a new course.
Yep. Invest your time in something. So you can invest money in something to hope to earn more money, and you invest time to be rewarded later. Marcos is saying that run out of time is quedar sin tiempo. Exactly, Marcos.
Exactly.
That's the meaning. Yeah. Very good. So yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Lynn? Or
no, I think that's it. So
on.
now that's a lot of verbs to do with time, and now we're going to chat about time.
Now we're going to chat a bit more abstract and look first at the way we can divide time.
Exactly. Yeah? This is what Lynn was doing on her holiday. I had a couple of days in Portugal, and I was at a beautiful place with a lovely river. And it was a lovely, cool, natural stream. And I was in the stream. And as I was cooling down in the stream, this is what I was thinking about. I was thinking, time.
Sipping on a cocktail, having a cocktail and thinking about time.
So the first thing that struck me, the thing that struck me is that I realized, Craig, that now that at different phases in my life, I structure my life around different concepts of time. So, for example, when I was at school, my life was broken up into school times. Yeah. So school terms, for example. And then as I got older, then I had some work cycles. When I had children, it went back to school terms because all of my life was running according to school timetables. And some people live their life according to their holidays. I've discovered I have friends who structure their lives around their holidays. Is that you?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I worked to go on holiday, so my year was divided into when can I travel, when can I go somewhere.
Exactly.
Now, of course, I can't go anywhere, so my perception of time has changed. It's shifted.
Exactly. And then I realized that different people actually do live their lives in cycles and they structure them. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to do the vocabulary of this? So that's the background. So we're going to start. What are we going to start with?
Well, no, because I've been putting up these kind of ways of dividing time with school terms and work seasons, etc. But the first kind of area that you sent me to look at is seasons. So
seasons.
Do you have a favorite season?
I do.
Our season. Are you? Do you prefer to live in a country like Spain that hasn't very clear, distinct seasons, or do you prefer a country like Germany where you lived, or the UK where seasons are more defined and they break up the year more distinctly?
And then, of course, some of our students are from countries like Ecuador. And in Ecuador, I believe the seasons aren't very defined at all.
No, because they're on the equator.
Exactly. So let's have a look, first of all, about the 4 seasons. Claudia has mentioned one season is summer. Do you know the other 3 seasons of the year? Summer. I don't know if anybody's got these.
See if they can. And be careful of one season has an American English word and a British English word. Do you know both? Let's see if you know. Gemma's saying spring and summer. 2 more to go, Gemma.
Winter.
Winter, says Claudia. 1 more.
One's missing.
What's the 4th season, according to Vivaldi? Or Diana Ross?
Good. Oh, and Claudia's got both. Well done, Claudia.
Fantastic. Well done, Claudia.
because Claudia has got the British English for this season, which is autumn pronunciation, or autumn. And she also has the American English for it, which is fall. They say fall because the leaves fall from the trees. Okay, so great. So spring, summer, autumn and winter. What about you, Craig? Do you have a favorite season?
Winter. And I do miss...
Really?
Yes,
Winter.
I love winter.
Wow.
I do miss the British winter. You know, the very cold, windy days.
I hate those.
I love those days.
Those.
I miss those days. Yeah.
Really?
And I really dislike the Spanish summer, July and August, when it's hot and humid, because I live quite close to the sea. So it's very humid here, lots of moisture in the air. And I don't like those 2 months. And I know that the other 10 months of the year are wonderful. So I'm not complaining about Spanish weather. I do enjoy it. But every so often, I would love to have a few days of really cold, crisp. We can use the word crisp to define those days that are very cold, but very clear and very fresh in the UK. And I love that weather. I miss it.
I hate the wind, Craig. So I hated those days. The town where I am from in the northeast of England, Sunderland, we have a lot of those days where it's windy, cold and
rainy.
Wet.
Yes.
And I have to say, I do not miss them at all. Not at all.
Well, to be fair, because I'm from London, which is further south. So where Lynn's from, there is worse weather in the north of the UK, and it tends to be a bit milder, a bit better in the south. So yeah, you had probably growing up, you had worse weather than I did, but still very cold in the winter.
No, I don't like winter, but my favorite season is autumn. I love autumn. I love the colors. If you live in a place, Valencia still has an autumn. The leaves on the tree, well, actually it doesn't, because the leaves on the
from
trees
summer
here
to winter.
go to, in winter they change color. That's true. We don't really have an autumn, but I do like autumn, like a British autumn, if you like, because sometimes you get some sunny days and the leaves change the color and the things fall and you start looking forward to Christmas, and I like it. Winter is too cold for me. And spring is too unpredictable, because spring, you never know what to wear, because you get your summer clothes out because it's warm, and then the next day it goes back to winter. You got to dress
like an onion, an onion in layers, and you can take off the layers. Dress like an onion in spring.
Yeah.
Percy and Claudia both love summer. And Claudia says that she suffers winter. So you could also say, I can't stand the winter, Claudia. I really dislike the winter. I'm not keen on winter. And Antonio's saying winter falls dogs and cats. There is an idiom, Antonio, that's it's raining cats and dogs, but native speakers don't usually use that. I don't know why. It's very common with language learners, but I don't think I've ever said, oh, look, it's raining cats and dogs. That's not a... Would you use that idiom?
No, I say it's bucketing down,
it's bucketing, pouring. It's pouring. It's really pouring outside.
I think English language textbooks like the idiom, like to teach the idiom. It's raining cats and dogs, because it's a very sort of visual thing. It's very funny. You think that cats and dogs are coming down on you, and I think they like it because it's an amusing idiom, but it's a bit old-fashioned. I think in the past maybe it was more common, but nowadays it's not very common. Just say
it's pouring, Antonio. In the winter it pours. Pours. Christine's saying she can't stand summer because of the scorching days. Really, really hot, boiling days. You can say they are scorching. If you have boiling water and you pour the water on your skin, you scorch your skin, you burn your skin. So the weather can be scorching. And Gemma's saying it's cool in winter. She has to dress like an onion. Yeah.
That's great.
Well done.
Okay. All right. And what about personalities, Craig? When were you born? Because some people say that according to the season you were born in, that determines your personality.
Well, I think my star sign determines my personality. I was born at the end of May, which makes me Gemini.
So that's still spring. Yeah, you're a spring.
It's spring. So I do think I'm a dual personality, the twins, the two sides. But I don't know if I'm... What does it mean if you're born in the spring?
Well, they often think that people who are more optimistic are born in the summer, and that people who are more pessimistic are born in winter days. That's what I've heard. Yeah. I was born in the middle, and I'm an optimist. So
you are. That's definitely true. That's definitely true
for me. Okay. All right. Shall we move on to other types of
well, we spoke briefly about school terms. Now, that's something I don't have to worry about now because I don't have to work in a school anymore. I don't have a job teaching in a school, which is something I'm quite happy about. I was made redundant over the summer, so I don't have an official year that's going to be defined or determined by my school terms. So I'm really pleased about that. But some people do, don't they? Especially if you're studying languages, you go to a language academy, or you're a teacher, then your year is defined by the academic year and school terms.
Or you have kids. I think when you have kids, you're definitely, your whole year, the whole planning is around the school terms. So we have some vocabulary, don't we, for that, for those of you who are
I didn't actually make banners.
Did you not make it?
I can put it in the chat.
All right. Well, you see the word terms, right? So terms are in like the periods. So you might have a period from September to December. That's the first term. And then there's usually a second term, which is from January to April. And then there is a third term, which usually is from April to June or July. Okay. Oh, you do have it. Yeah.
I just made it. Yeah.
Oh, you just made it. Well done. Right. So 3 school terms. Right. Now so if you're at school, we use the word term, but at university, the people at university talk about semesters.
And don't they use semesters in American English for terms, I think?
In high school they might well do. That's right. Yeah. And semester is usually it's a longer period. I think it's like from September to February, isn't it? And then from February to July. Okay. Yeah. And then in those terms, there are usually some holidays. And in British and American English, we call those holidays that cut the term in two or divide the term in two, we call those breaks. And in American English, we would say the autumn break, or in British English, autumn break, the fall break. Another way of saying it is to say mid-term or half-term break. So that's a few days of holiday in the middle of the term. Of course, in Spain here, they don't have half-term breaks at all. The terms are very short. They have some public holidays, but they don't have a half-term break.
So how are you studying? The people in the chat room, did you break for the summer, or there's the phrasal verb at the end here, to break up? Did you break up from your language studies in August, or have you continued to study? I'd be interested to know if you did take a break from studying English, if you are at a language school. I think Christine, for example, is at the Escuela de Idiomas. She's at the language school, the government language school here in Spain. So did you break up? How is your year divided where you live?
And some people, of course, study without interruption, and then they don't break their studies with terms, and they study all year round, which is the phrase that we've got there on the screen. All year round means without interruption at all. And that governs the way you think, I mean, my kids and me too, I used to start and say, oh, like now it's like, let's start back. I feel like I'm starting anew now because we're starting the new school year here in Spain because it's September. So in the Northern Hemisphere, we're starting the new school year. And I feel it makes me feel different. When I come back to work, I don't feel the same in January when I come back to work after Christmas, and they're both holidays. But this one is like, it's completely new. It's like the beginning of a year for me because I often get new students and things like that.
Andrea's saying she's wondering if the school terms are related to months. Well, I know that here in Spain, for example, the academic year tends to begin in September, October, and carries around to July, really, or the end of June. Yeah, the end of June, and then the summer school begins for people who go to summer school. And Christine, she took a break in May, but she's taking a gap year because she has a lot on my plate. A lot. She's very busy. When it comes to languages. Are you studying other languages, Christine, or apart from English?
Yeah, wow. Now, in the Southern Hemisphere as well, I know, for example, my nephews in New Zealand, their school years don't go from September to July. Their school years go from January to December. Like with the proper year. I don't know what it's like in South America. Maybe it's different there, yeah.
Because it's different. Andrea says, I need to live in a tropical country we live a humid. Yeah, no, I don't. I like the weather here, Andrea. It's just that I'm not very keen on August and July because it's really, really hot. Apart from that, I'm fine. I don't want to change. I'm not going back to the UK. It's too cold, but I do miss sun. I do miss the weather sometimes.
I lived in a tropical country for a few months.
In Africa, wasn't it?
In Africa, yes. And I have to say, I found it as well. You see, this is the concept of time, because there were no seasons and it was there was a rainy season. There was a season that was a rainy season. So there was that kind of difference. But it did do something to my head in terms of planning because I felt that every day was the same, It didn't give me a sense. It gave me a different sense of time. Every day seemed the same, so it was a different rhythm of time. But here in Spain, literally, and as a teacher, it's literally September, December, January, March, April, June.
Yeah,
summer.
That's true.
That's the way I feel my life goes. Andreas says in Colombia, you see that like in New Zealand, they have like from February to December, because I think they have their long summer holiday in December to like January is their long break, their summer break. And that's like so you work on calendar years. Yeah.
Oh, Christine's studying German. There you go. As well as English. Very good. Very good. Wunderbar. And so where are we?
Yeah, so that was the seasons, yeah? Shall we skip to another section?
Yeah, there's
holiday
one thing
times.
Well, yes, we go to holiday times. Okay. I have to create a banner for the vocabulary. Not much holidaying being done by people at the moment, but we do divide our year according to our religious or national holidays, don't we? So Christmas holidays, for example, are very popular here in Europe and in many Christian countries.
That's true. And we have Christmas Eve. If you were with us last year for the Christmas special, you've learned the word Christmas Eve. Eve is the day before. So we have Christmas Eve, and we also have New Year's Eve, which is the 31st of December. Then we have Christmas Day, New Year's Day. We have Easter. These are all the Christian holidays. Easter. We have summer holidays. The American, be careful with the word holidays. When we're talking about holidays in general, then we always have an S on the word holidays. We always refer to it in the plural. But if you're talking about a specific holiday, like maybe you went to Mallorca for 2 weeks, where did you go on holiday? Then you're talking about a specific holiday. So when we're talking about one, we use holiday. And when we're talking about it in general, free time, then we have an S, right? And the Americans don't say holidays, they say vacation.
Yeah, vacation. And they also say Thanksgiving, which is a typical American holiday, North American holiday. And it's the third Thursday in November, isn't it? So that's Thanksgiving.
I'm not sure. I didn't know where that is.
And I can't remember when Labor Day is, but it was recently. So they recently celebrated Labor Day.
Labor Day.
I think. And Halloween is, when's Halloween?
Halloween is the 31st of November. October, sorry, October. Because the next day is another Christian holiday, which is called All Saints Day. So on the 1st of November, it's all the good saints. It's all good. And all the evil spirits are the day before, which is the 31st of Halloween is not a Christian thing. Halloween is a pagan holiday, but it's with rituals of bad spirits and horror things. And of course, it's very commercialized now, Halloween, but it's the day before All Saints Day, which is the 1st of November.
Which is and also then there are also the Day of the Dead, I think.
The Day of the Dead.
In Mexico is the same day.
In Mexico it's the Day of the Dead. I mean, it is All Saints Day is a Christian holiday, I think, where people traditionally think of their family who have died. It's to celebrate or to remember
their lives.
Their lives.
And what's interesting is that a lot of religious holidays and festivals tend to be in the spring. They tend to be around Easter time in different religions because it's the changing of the season. It's the agricultural calendar when you're planting seeds. Is this idea of renewal and starting again. So a lot of festivals tend to happen in the spring.
Yeah, because there's the Islamic festival of Ramadan, isn't there? Yep. And is there a Jewish festival as well?
Passover is round about Easter time because Easter was there's a connection there with Passover.
Yeah, so there's different holidays like that. And of course, depending on which country you're in and what religion, what is the state religion, then those holidays are there. Okay.
So let's move on to work seasons now. When we think about work now as teachers, obviously we mentioned before that we tend to divide the year in terms if we're teaching at school. But there are other ways of describing the work year. So let me quickly put some vocabulary up for that.
I was thinking about this because if you don't have children and you're not involved in education, a lot of people feel their lives passing, and
tell me about it.
They
passing me by. It's passing me by.
They divide it into sections which are determined by the job that they do. I mean, the clearest example is if you're a farmer, right? If you're a farmer, you must plan all your life. I don't know if anybody is a farmer. If they are, you can tell me if I'm correct or not.
I used to be a farmer.
Did you? Well, there you are. Well, am I imagining it, or do you think of do you break the time up according to the seasons?
You do. The time where you have to plow. Or the time where you do
different things.
You prepare the field, you plow the field, then you sow the seeds, then you water the seeds, and then it grows in the spring and summer, and then you harvest. So the year cycle depends on the land and on when things are growing and when you harvest and you bring in the crop. Yeah. Did you put that vocabulary?
Yeah. So well, forget the first two because that's another job, but those are the words in the middle that we've mentioned. Harvest, which is when you collect the things that have grown. So if you've grown wheat or potatoes or vegetables and you collect them because they're ready to be eaten,
then ripe.
That's
the
harvest.
That word ripe.
They're ripe. Then you harvest them. A picking season. Picking is like this. So when you're taking something from a tree with your fingers, or from a bush, like picking grapes, for example, or you can pick strawberries. There's a picking season, no, for apples, pears, and things like that. Sowing. Now, sowing.
That's not sewing with a needle and thread, is it? Not sewing your shirt.
It's not SEW, but it's the same pronunciation. So sewing and sewing. Sewing like this for your buttons is with SEW, but this one is SOW. And this word means when you put the seeds in the soil. So when you plant the plants, when you plant the seeds, that is sowing. What kind of farm did you used to work on, Craig?
I used to work on a collective farm. It was a socialist farm. We used to grow tomatoes and wheat and cotton and all sorts of crops.
You must have learned a lot. Did you learn a lot, or did you know? Were your family farmers? Or
no, my family are from London. They're not nothing to do with they couldn't have a garden. Their garden was a disaster. No, it was just something I was interested in. So I did learn. I learned how to sow crops and irrigate. To irrigate is to regar in Spanish, to give water to the crops and to the plants, and then I learned to check for insects that were maybe eating the crops and the plants, and then to spray pesticides, that sort of thing. Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
Okay. And then finally, just to finish, we've got, if you're, for example, an accountant, I know I have some friends who work in finance, and their years are always determined by the by the closures of the accounts. That's when they have to do the books and they have to present them to the law. The fiscal year is the tax year. So depending on how the tax rules are in each country, they have certain deadlines when they have to present documents. And that determines their planning very strongly. I have my sister-in-law, for example, she can never celebrate New Year's Eve with us because she is always working.
What's her job? She's
and New Year's Day. She works for the government in the tax authorities, and she's always extremely busy between Christmas and New Year. I mean, she has New Year's Day free like everybody, but when she arrives on New Year's Eve, she's exhausted because she's been working so much, and sometimes she doesn't get out of the office until very late on New Year's Eve.
So her year is definitely defined by her job.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And then we have tourist seasons, of course. If you work in tourism or you have a hotel, your year is defined by the high season, when you have lots of customers, and the low season, when it's not very busy.
We've been in low season for quite a while now.
We have with pandemic.
Because of the pandemic. And Rafa's not here this week, but Rafa would agree with that there's quite a low season. Although I think it's improving, it's picking up. There's a phrasal verb with pick, not picking fruit, but picking up is improving, getting better.
Recovering.
Recovering. Things are picking up, definitely. And then there's fashion, which is also another industry that's been hit by the pandemic, sadly. But you have fashion seasons where different styles are introduced and different colors, for example. So but there's one question I'd like to ask. I'm not sure if I have it on. Yes, I do have it here somewhere. That's the question I wanted to ask. How does the way we think about time change as we get older? We touched on this in the beginning, and Lynn and I both agreed that as we're getting older, we tend to look at time differently. I think when you're younger, you think that time is infinite, that you have all the time in the world, that sometimes it passes slowly, sometimes it passes quickly, but you always have time. That's something that's always yours. Whereas I think as you get older, you tend to look at time differently, and it becomes more precious, and you value your time more, and you don't like to waste it. So I wonder what you think, people who are watching, has your view of time, the way you think about time, has that changed over the years? And if it has, in what way? Tell us what you think.
I'm going to give you a little anecdote here. Can you remember the musician Prince?
Yeah, Purple Rain.
Purple Rain. Now there was this, some people are very young, so they might not know who Prince is. And Prince changed his name actually before he died, and he was called the artist formerly known as Prince.
Or he had some symbol,
he had some strange
Greek
symbol which was his name. But he was a very unusual person, and especially when it came to time, because I read somewhere, I'm not an expert on Prince, but this is what I read. It might be an urban myth, I don't know. But I think that Prince, he rejected the concept of time completely. And he refused to talk about anything to do with time, not days of the week, not months of the year. He threw away his watch, and he refused to live with the concept of time, which I thought was really interesting. I can't imagine that.
Well, what's interesting is that
it must change your life completely. If you have no concept of time, if you wake up when you want to wake up, if you go to bed when you want to go to bed, if you don't plan anything, because he said the concept of time is man-made, it does not exist, time.
True.
So he tried to live totally without it, which is quite strange.
And you can also change your concept of time, because most people think of time as a linear thing in a line. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. Why does time have to be something that passes from the left to the right, for example, or in a line? Maybe you can think of time in a different way.
Either we've put everybody to sleep or they've switched off. It's too abstract.
Are we wasting your time? There's one thing I want to put in the chat, and that's a link to a YouTube song by Pink Floyd. Do you know this, Lynn? It's called Time, and the lyrics are very, very deep, and
are they?
It's a song I like very much, and it speaks about how time passes and we don't really realize how to value it. Sometimes we realize time has passed when it's too late, and we look back and we haven't appreciated the way that time's passed. So the link I've put in the chat has the lyrics to the song, the words to the song. The introduction's quite long. So if you fast forward to they actually start singing and then follow the lyrics, follow the words with the singer, I hope you'll like the meaning behind the words in the song, Time.
Great. I'll do that. I'm interested now. You've sparked my interest.
What's your favorite time of the year, Lynn?
Autumn. I said autumn.
Oh, you said before, didn't you? Of course.
Yeah. And my favorite time of the day is the morning. I am much better in the morning than in the evening.
Me too. I am now. I never used to be, but I am now. Yeah.
But we're not bad in the evening either, are we, Craig? We're quite good in the evening too.
I don't know what I'll be like when I've finished this, but we'll see. But I'm okay at the moment.
Right. Well, I think it's time, actually, Craig.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I think it's time we left you.
Yeah, so, time has flown. Has time flown for you? Did this class?
It has, and it's been really nice.
Quickly?
It passed very quickly for me. Time has flown by. Heidi's saying carpe diem is a good idea. Seize the day. Yes, live in the moment and seize the day. Anyway, we're out of time. We have no more time. Time is up, as Christine says. So thank you for watching, especially if you've been with us live. And if you're watching the replay, we hope you've learned something and enjoyed this lesson about time. Before we go, we'll remind you where we're from. If this is your first time watching, my name's Craig. I'm from the website mansioningles.com, where you can study for free. And there's lots of material and courses there that are on the website. And we also have a monthly newsletter that you can sign up for and receive by email, also free, and a free podcast at inglespodcast.com. That's a weekly audio podcast that you can listen to wherever you listen to your podcasts. Lynn.
All right. And so my name is Lynn, if it's your first time and you don't know me. And my company is called putitlikethis.com. There's a website there. And I'm an online teacher. And I tailor make my courses to my students. So if you have a particular objective or need, maybe, the typical ones that most of my students have, a lot of students have exams that they want to prepare for. Some business people have particular presentations that they want to prepare for, job interviews. I also offer courses for methodologies for teachers too. But all of my courses are tailor-made. So if you have a specific objective, then you tell me your objective, and then I will try to help you in the most efficient and time-efficient way and time-effective way to achieve your goals. So you can check out my website, and then you'll see what I offer there if you're interested.
So you'll save time. If you study with Lynn, you'll save time. It's much easier to have a personal teacher. Okay. Is it your birthday today, Christine, or next Wednesday?
No, next Wednesday.
Oh, next Wednesday. So we'll have to sing happy birthday to Christine next week. Yeah,
Christine, I'll be wishing you a happy birthday, because I think next week is Monica, is it, or not?
Yeah, next week Monica's going to be with me. So Lynn will be back in 2 weeks' time with a different topic, a different subject. So again, if this is your first time watching, we'll be back we'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll be here with Monica next Wednesday at the same time, 8 p.m. Madrid time. And until next time, thanks for watching and keep studying English.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.